Rock on Thumper! Thumper, the quarry machine, was in a foul mood. The fat controller had sent him to another area of Boulder Quarry during the last few days of its operations, following an incident in which a boulder had gotten loose and had demolished some engine sheds, whilst also causing trouble for the little engines and Percy. Edward, who had brought Thumper in the first place, felt very sorry for the machine, and so did Scar Lowy, despite being caught up in the antics of the boulder. "It's not fair, man," Thumper whimpered to Edward. "I didn't mean to knock that boulder loose. There was nothing I could have done, man." Edward completely sympathized with Thumper, but some of the other engines did not. The next morning, Edward took Thumper to his new position in the quarry. Percy had spent the last few days clearing away the mess of the sheds, which the boulder had demolished. "Stupid thing," Percy grumbled. "You could have endangered the entire island." "Well, thankfully," said Edward calmly, "he didn't." Then Edward took Thumper to his new position in the quarry. "Try not to knock anything else on the way down," asked Percy. Thumper stayed quiet. Percy went to get some more trucks. But he was not the only engine who was annoyed with Thumper. Duncan, who thankfully was not caught up with the antics of the boulder, was also very annoyed. "How can you trust on a big red brute to cause such destruction?" Duncan grumbled. "I tell you what, if it was me and I was protecting this line..." "Well, you don't protect anything," snorted Scar Lowy. "All you care about, Duncan, is yourself." "Huh, better to look out for oneself than for others," said Duncan selfishly. "You know, Duncan," said Scar Lowy, "that Thumper is going to help you out one day and you won't have the words to express yourself. The day I need that brute's help, Sir Handel might just show up in the middle of nowhere." And Duncan fussed away. Scar Lowy rolled his eyes. Sometimes he felt that Duncan was just as stubborn as Sir Handel had been. A few days later, Thumper was finishing off his last section of the quarry. It had long since closed down, and Edward was to take him back to the mainland. He was just finishing up when Scar Lowy hurried over. "Thumper, we need your help," he called. "I'm kinda busy, man," Thumper called back. "Can it wait?" "A rock slide has blocked Duncan's path," called Scar Lowy. "You've got to help clear the mess." But Thumper was worried. "I'll just cause another accident, man," he wailed. "There's no time for that," called Scar Lowy. "You must help Duncan." Rather reluctantly, Thumper left his post and set off to help Duncan, with Scar Lowy leading the way. When Thumper and Scar Lowy arrived, there were rocks all over the place. Duncan, doing nothing else, complained bitterly. "Just what we need," he grumbled. "It's the huge red wrecking ball. This is going to be interesting." But to Duncan's surprise, as Scar Lowy looked on, Thumper set to work without fuss. His mighty chisel soon had the rocks small enough to be cleared away. Scar Lowy was even more delighted when Peter, Sam and Rheneas arrived with empty trucks for the stones to be loaded in, which would then be taken away. By the time Thumper was finished, it was also time for him to head home. Scar Lowy gave Thumper his thanks, but Duncan was speechless. That evening at the sheds, Scar Lowy, Rheneas, Rusty and Peter Sam could talk of nothing more than machines, quarries and boulders. Duncan stood in the corner of the yard. He didn't even look up. "What's the matter, Duncan?" chuckled Scar Lowy. "Have we got a thumping great headache?" The other little engines laughed. But Duncan didn't even say a word. "It's like I said about Thumper," continued Scar Lowy. "You'd need his help sooner or later." Duncan muttered a simple sorry and limped to the shed. While the other little engines forgot about Thumper, I think between you and me, Duncan wasn't going to forget the mighty quarry machine for quite some time.